Welcome to the first webinar regarding retail business of its kind by K.Hartwall. My name is Reidar Vasenius and I'll be working as the moderator throughout this broadcast. We're really glad to have you join us here physically in Söderkulla, Finland, at the global headquarters of K.Hartwall. We will be providing you with lots of useful information for you to develop your business with some really crucial key takeaways as well. And first, Mr. Stefan Lind, who is the head of the retail business here at K.Hartwall, will be providing in his presentation some insights into how you can improve the cost efficiency and also sustainability of your supply chain with modern logistical solutions. After that, Production Manager Mikko Kymäläinen within logistics at Inex Partners here in Finland will be telling us how they have been developing their business and improving it around the Foldia roll cage solutions. After that, the three of us will have a small discussion here in the studio, and at the very end we will have a Q&A, a questions and answers session. So you are warmly welcome to provide your questions and comments throughout this webinar in the chat as you're watching us live. Warmly welcome, and let's dive in to the really interesting and fascinating world of wheeled logistics.
Hello, my name is Stefan Lind. I'm working as the head of business unit retail at K.Hartwall, a leading provider of material handling and supply chain logistics solutions. What a challenging time to be working in the retail logistics now. Prior to COVID-19, the labor shortage was causing many companies to consider dramatically changing their operation and implementing automation wherever possible. The global interruption of supply chain caused by the pandemic has now speeded up that cycle. Sustainability is another hot topic. Everybody is looking to reduce their carbon footprint, but not at the cost of losing operational efficiency and effectiveness. In our time together today, I will go through some wheel logistics solutions to show how they can help you to both reach your efficiency goals and your sustainability targets. Let me first start by telling you briefly about K.Hartwall. K.Hartwall is a family-owned company with headquarters near Helsinki in Finland. We have been in business over 85 years, making material handling equipment. Today, we are working with customers in over 60 countries, including many of the biggest names and market leaders in their own segments within retail, automotive, and parcel operations. We support our customers with everything from manual handling equipment such as roll containers to more advanced solutions within AGVs, tugger trains, IoT. We work with companies from US to Europe and Australia with one goal in mind, which is to improve manual handling in warehouses, retail distribution, store handling, and e-commerce logistics. Today, I will tell you about some of our global learnings within logistics arena and how many leading corporations are improving their operations with wheeled logistics while doing their part in the sustaining a clean and safe environment for their customers and employees. Let's go through each stage of the supply chain and see how wheeled logistics can truly be a game changer. Like Finland in ice hockey. Sorry, Sweden. Let's first take a look at the operations in the distribution center. Pallets are still in center of many retail operations, and as the environment is arranged based on them, the operations are still fairly efficient. However, there is still space for improvement, especially when looking at the ergonomics and sustainability issues, but not forgetting the cost efficiency. Some of the issues related to pallet-based operations include high use of stretch film, lifting of empty pallets from unergonomic heights, product damages, and low space utilization in the dispatch area. A wheeled unit, on the other hand, can be a very efficient, ergonomic, and sustainable choice in your DC operations. Depending on the device used, up to 4 roll gauges can be picked at the same time. Taking in use is easy and fast, and different techniques can be used to facilitate efficient and error-free picking, such as light guidance, voice picking, and finger scanners. Furthermore, the support of walls and use of shelves enables very efficient filling of the units without pyramid effect while keeping the products undamaged inside the unit footprint. None or very little stretch film is needed during and after the picking. Next step of the process is the transportation, including loading of pallets to the truck and unloading at the other end. One by one loading and unloading of pallets is rather slow, especially when you need to use the tail lift. Whilst the standard pallets are a very good fit to the truck footprint, the effort to maximize truck fill often results in product damages caused by overhanging products and double-stacked low pallets. As the principle of wheeled unit is easy manual handling, it is rather obvious that fast and easy loading and unloading is one of the key benefits for the transportation part. Even 3 units can be moved at the time, making it much faster than with pallets. And as no pallet jack is needed, it is also easy, for example, to have a helping hand for the unloading at stores. Especially high and heavy pallets are quite clumsy to move and can cause both damages to products and property, as well as to the people around them. High quality roll cages are easy to move even when they are loaded with heavy items such as drinks and beer. Standard roll cage footprints are also naturally designed to fit the standard trucks, making it a very efficient transportation method both for deliveries and for the return transportation. While efficient handling in the DC and high truck fill in the transportation are important, the highest handling costs by far are in the stores. This is where most often the biggest benefits of roll cages can be realized. There are various ways to do the self-replacement from pallets, but they all have their own challenges. If done directly from the pallets, it can take 2 hours or even more per pallet, blocking the aisles and the products behind them. Moving of the pallets with pallet jacks is slow and disturbs customers at daytime in the stores. Out-of-stock products may be at the bottom of the pallet from where they are very difficult to reach quickly. Due to these challenges, many retailers choose to first lift the products to another wheeled unit in the back room, such as a shopping cart. This means double handling makes the process inefficient and also increase the risk of product damages. In the back of the store, half-full pallets create a mess, where it is very difficult to move and find the product that you are looking for. Replenishing from a roll cage, on the other hand, changed the game dramatically, with the long list of benefits. That is why the store personnel always love them, like a love boat on wheels. Manual moving of the units is easy, so the products can be wheeled to right location to minimize walking and without need of double handling. Products are easy to find and take, so out-of-stock products can be replaced faster. There is no need to remove and dispose of the plastic waste. Smaller footprint and easy movement means that the aisles are not blocked. In the back of the store, roll cages can be used as space-efficient shelves where products are easy to find and they can again be rolled to the store without double handling. Our roll cages are always extremely space efficient to store and to move when they are empty. The final leg of the loop is the return logistics. This is a stage where you can have a real impact on both efficiency and sustainability. Using of high quality roll cages means that there is no or very little stretch film to be handled and shipped back, and no wet, broken pallets and unstable pallet stacks to lift and to handle. Roll cages are an easy way to gather and ship back, returning cardboard boxes and other waste as well. Often the drivers gather empty units and waste as they are delivering the products. Returning pallet stacks are blocking the access for the driver to get the products at the next delivery location. Wheeled units are much easier and faster to handle in tight spaces as their footprint is smaller and no pallet jacks is needed. Finally, coming back to the DC, the roll cages can be efficiently unloaded and moved to storage location in queues either manually or for longer distances, also with forklifts or tuggers. Folding and nestling roll cages are extremely space efficient and easy to move and take into use again. To start a new loop of the most efficient retail logistics. So, I would like to summarize how roll cages can help you with labor availability challenges. First, in DC, inside trucks or in stores, the handling is just simply much faster as we have demonstrated. Secondly, roll cages remove complete labor-intensive steps of the process, such as need for double handling in stores and handling of stretch film first in DC, then in stores, and once more in return handling. Thirdly, the roll cage reduces sick leaves as there is less heavy lifting, less health and safety issues due to accidents caused by forklifts and pallet jacks, and also less product falling off the pallets. Roll cages are a more sustainable choice. And why is that? Because with walls on your load carrier, you will need less stretch film. There will be less product damages due to standing out products and falling off products. You can maximize truck fill and consume less fuel. You can create an efficient return logistic process. A high quality returnable unit is during its up to 10 years lifespan the most sustainable choice when also thinking about the resources consumed. To summarize, in a typical pallet-based retail operation, majority of the operational costs are in the stores, in those last 50 meters to the shelf. This is where many of our customers have gained the biggest benefits. We really want to encourage you all to look at the full picture and to do the total cost to get the product from the DC to the store shelf. This to make sure that you are minimizing your TCO, total cost of ownership, and not sub-optimizing a single part of the process. We seldom have the lowest price on day one, but we are surely have after 3 years of use. And that's your money we are talking about. Remember that. With wheel logistics, you can reduce drastically costly and time-consuming manual handling. You can also reduce accidents and increase health and safety. You can speed up truck loading and improve truck fill. You can also offer more ergonomic solution to your employees. And you can reduce forklift traffic in DC and pallet obstructing the alleys in the stores. You can decrease need for other equipment at pallet jacks. And in the end, you can speed up store replacement. As my final topic, I wanted to give you a quick peek into future of a retail distribution center. This is our A-Mate mobile robot feeding pallets to an automated storage system. Roll cages are the best method to deliver mixed loads to stores. Nevertheless, there are flows inside DCs, be it pallets or roll cages, that can be further optimized and automated. K.Hartwall can be your partner on that journey as well. So stay tuned for an upcoming webinar regarding this topic. We hope you enjoyed this presentation and sparked ideas to further improve your logistics operations. Please don't hesitate to contact us. And remember, make the right decision to be the hero of tomorrow and the superhero for your children by choosing a sustainable solution.
Thank you very much, Stefan, for all those insights. Clearly, a key takeaway is that the wheel has been invented. Why reinvent it when you can use it to make things much more cost efficient, smooth, and even more sustainable? Right now, we will move on to the next presentation. We have Mr. Mikko Kymäläinen from Inex Partners here in Finland, and he will share with us their experiences on how to develop their business around the Foldia roll cage solutions.
Hello everybody, my name is Mikko Kymäläinen and I'm working in Inex as production manager in logistics. And today I'm going to talk to you a little about SOK Inex Partners and how we do cooperations with K.Hartwall. What is S Group? S Group is a Finnish network of companies operating in the retail and service sector business. And roughly we are having 1,200 outlets where Inex Partners is delivering the daily groceries and consumer goods. But if we take the whole operating area, there's also hotels, restaurants and gas stations all together, roughly 1,800 different locations where we are operating in Finland. And of course there is some business going on St. Petersburg in Russia and Estonia, but that's all. Our main working area is Finland, of course, and Inex Partners is handling all the logistics service for SOK Group all together and everything that goes under that. Let's talk about S Group in Finland. So we are retail market leader in Finland at the moment, and it's roughly 46% of the market share if we compare it to all the other competitors here in Finland. But we have to remember that S Group, SOK, is co-op store and we have a lot of co-op members, so it's almost a little bit over 80% altogether that are co-op members, and if you convert that as a person, it's roughly 2.4 million persons that are members here in our business and our clients, of course. Altogether we are having 1,841 outlets, but if we only take the daily grocery stores, it's a little bit over 1,200 shops where we are delivering from Sipoo Logistics Center. The tax-free retail sales was few years ago 11.5 billion euros, so it's quite a lot. And if you think about the field of where we are working in Finland, so roughly average distance to the stores from everywhere is 2.4, 2.5 kilometers. Of course, this is a little bit different when you go to the northern part of Finland because there's much longer distance and it's totally different infrastructures in there. And of course, it's very important for us to understand the whole pictures. So the waste utilization degree in our operations are 99%. But then again, there is still 1% more that we can actually get it even much better. So let's concentrate only on Inex partners and what we do. What are the logistic service that we provide to SOK and our client? Of course, we are located in Sipoo, Finland, where we are having the daily groceries logistic center and consumer goods logistics center, but they are actually located right next to each other, and we are going through those a little bit later on. Small part, but if you think about the whole service, it's basically all the import service that we can provide to SOK. So basically transportation and forwarding service and inbound, well, everything that is going through with the customs or everything like that. And roughly, if you think about the volume that comes in, is 80% is domestic products and 20% are import products. And of course, I'm not going through all these services that we are having, but if we take only the core of there, of course, the picking is the most important thing, and the transportation from logistics centers to the stores. And everything, basically everything around that too is included in our mandate to serve our clients. And let's go through the key figures in Inex partners. The sales is roughly 420 million. If I correct right, last year it was 430 million, so there's slight increase on the cost. So basically the sales are our logistics cost in a whole year. But if we go that through, of course it divided by the transportations, the results, and then of course the facilities that we are working on. We are having 1,300 personnel at the moment in Sipoo, and at the grocery goods there's roughly 800, and on the consumer goods 350, and of course then we have this transportation service 150, and then we are some subcontractors on the side, roughly 400. Of course these are more or less also seasonal workers that we need on Eastern or Midsummer Festival or on Christmas times. But if we take only the Sipoo area and the logistics centers there, so there is 100 hectares area that these two logistics centers are located, and the grocery DC in Sipoo is 255,000 square meters, and if you convert that to cubic meters, is roughly 3.8 million cubic meters, so it's quite big facility. But then again, it's big because we have all the different temperature products under the same roof, from dry goods to the frozen goods. And then we own 4 regional terminals around in Finland. They are in Lempäälä, Oulu, Kuopio, and of course Etelä, Sipoo, the south is one terminal too, inside the logistics center, of course. Roughly there is 1,700 suppliers who are delivering the goods for us to Sipoo, and on daily grocery side roughly 21,000 SKUs that we are picking on, and of course a lot more in the consumer goods, that is 57,000 basic items, but if we add all the seasonal products and so on, it's more or less 300,000 products that we are picking on the consumer goods side. And if you think about the volume on freight, it's roughly 2 billion kilos that we are forwarding every year from the logistics center forward. And roughly 1,000 trucks stops every day in our logistics center in Sipoo. Here you can see our DCs in Sipoo. So on the lower left, the bigger picture is the PTDC is the grocery side. So that's of course the larger one. So 225 square meters and 3.8 million cubic meters. There's actually wrong number because we had our expansion and I haven't actually added here yet the right numbers. We can actually have 90,000 pallets on the shelves, so pallet places, 800,000 picking trays location. These are more or less for the automation, and the maximum capacity that we can pick per day is 1.2 million parcels per day. And of course it's highly automated. And if we go to the smaller logistics center, the consumer goods, it's roughly 75,000 square meters, 1.1 million cubic meters, 35,000 pallet places, and of course that's, let's say, semi-automated, halfly automated, because the variety of the picking goods are so big, so it's very hard to make any automation at the moment for these goods. But let's see what happens in the future. Inex Partners and K.Hartwall has had a long-term partnership. It has started before I came to work in Inex 16 years ago, so it's roughly more than 30 years that we are doing a lot of cooperation and development together. And it was something 80 when we was taking the first roll case in our process, but after that it has been the backbone if you think about our transportations and how we pick the goods to the client. So basically in our case, the client can actually decide will they pick the roll case or the pallet. Of course the small stores always pick up the roll case because it's very easy to move, and actually it's very easy to transport if you think about the truck driver who is handling that. And we are using a lot of roll cages daily basis. If you think about a normal day like today, and the Easter is behind us now, so it's roughly 8 to 10,000 roller cages that we are feeding to the automation. So basically we are opening them up and inserting them to the automation. But then again, when the season comes, it can be 14 to 15,000 roll cages per day that we are using in our automation daily. But if we calculate the whole years, altogether the uses are increased almost, actually it was 2,100,053 if I remember how many uses we had of the roll cages per year. So they are circling around all the time in our processes, and it's very important, especially when we go to the quality or automation compatibility or reliability, because the most important thing that all the goods are still in good shape when they reach the end client, and for that the roll cage is very good item to have in our process. And of course it's very efficient if you think about the picking, or when the full roll cages goes to the stores and you can actually move it to the aisles and start unpacking the goods from there. And even if you think about the return logistics, you can actually put 4 roll cages inside one, and it's very easy to take it back to the Sipoo in our logistics center. When you are doing cooperation with different kind of businesses, it's very important of innovation and development. With Inex Partners and K.Hartwall, we have done this a lot. And the first one that I was involved in was the Foldia project, and we started that already in 2012. Of course, we had a big pilot with that, with the production, with our client, and transportation. And when we got green light from every of these 3 parts, of course, then we changed our views and we started to bring on the Foldia roll cage. And we were starting to change our whole roll cage fleet from the old roll cage to the Foldia. And that lasted until last year, so it was quite long project. So it took roughly 8 years from starting to end. But now every roll case that we use are Foldia roll case. And that's very important that we have always had this, that we are speaking always the same language. Or if we have problems, I can go and come to K.Hartwall and tell them that I have this problem and can you help me? It's very important that actually we know each other and know the process, what is possible and what is not. Sometimes we have made even the impossible possible, but that's always very nice if this happens, and sometimes it's reality. But the most important thing is, of course, that we can add value through the whole logistic pipeline, if you think about from the supplier to the end store. So everything, if we can actually make better value for there, of course, everything is then happy and the project has been successful. And of course, we are looking forward to the future and talking with K.Hartwall that what are the possibilities, or if there is new innovations or new developments on their products, that how we can actually use or how we can implement them to our process. At the moment we are testing, for example, A-made AGV and taxi liner in our premises in Sipoo. And of course there is a lot of things, possible solutions in e-commerce, but that is still a little bit on blur, but actually it's getting brighter and brighter all the time. But there's a lot of possibilities in there too. But nevertheless, it's always important to have innovation and development and doing it together. You cannot get to the goal if you are alone. You need a lot of people around you, and you can actually get better results from that. Okay, that was quite a long speech about Index Partners, SOK and K.Hartwall, but let's see by video how actually Foldia helps our logistics and automation in manual also way. So how we actually handle the Foldia in our logistics. Okay, that was all for me today. I hope you enjoy and you get a lot of ideas of my representation. But remember, if you have a problem, rarely you can solve it by yourself, so you have to get around you good co-op. Even there are people or business or whatever, but remember, if it's reliable and you can benefit from it both ways, that both parties benefited, it always come out with the success. Have a nice day.
At this stage in our discussion about wheeled logistics, we'll go in more deeply with experts into what is really happening right now in these extraordinary times. We have you with us, Mikko, here, and you work as a production manager in logistics at Inex Partners. The pandemic will gradually be over. So what do you see are some of the main challenges in those times as we move out of these strange pandemic times?
Well, of course, the biggest challenges were at the time of the pandemic when the volumes increased a lot. So it was quite fast, especially last year when the pandemic started and everybody was hoarding the toilet paper and dry goods. So that was quite interesting times. But then again, if you think about what happens next, of course, many clients have changed their view of how to go or buy groceries. So more or less they are pushing towards to the e-com and, well, pick and orders from the grocery stores, or they can actually order it home.
Well, retail has grown hugely, of course, during these times. So there are lots of opportunities as well, of course. But what would you say generally about the development in the next few years? How do you look at the future?
Well, of course, I look at positive way of the future, because in these very bad situations, we are that fortunate company that actually has benefit from the pandemic, because people really buy more stuff from the grocery store. So it's cool for us, but then again bad for the hotels and restaurants. But the biggest challenge is that how we can actually make it cost effective way of handling all the goods from the logistics centers to the, for example, to the stores where they are picking e-commerce, and develop more or less the, let's say that it's not the right place for picking the e-com at the shop, so it should be some kind of different fulfillment center or something like that divides all the goods to the client, even if it's like a pick and collect or home deliveries. Well, of course, client can decide that what service they will buy. That will be the biggest challenge, that how we can handle the whole logistic if we think about what happens around the e-commerce.
So both to tackle challenges and to really utilize the opportunities, what kind of investments do you see that need to be made?
Well, those, of course, if you think about how we can serve our clients better, for example, the roll case, or how we can actually make it more faster, reliable and cost effective. That's always been in logistics how would you say the main goal? Yeah, the main goal, that you have to always look that, but then you have to, there has come more things around you that has to always take care and think that how you can handle or tackle these. But if we go back to your question, I think the biggest investment will be in the future that these, well, service center where you can actually pick for the e-commerce products. And nobody hasn't done it yet here in Finland. So there is no right or wrong answer at the moment, like I said.
So as the head of business unit retail, Stefan, you have a more global perspective on things with people in your sales force working all the way from Australia to North America, from Iceland to South Africa. What kind of trends and developments do you see?
A lot of trends, but let's pick three of them. And I think that if we start with the big retailers in the world are taking down. They are taking down the hypermarkets and the big stores, and they are going from the bigger stores to smaller stores, and smaller stores into the cities and closer to the end customers. And there I think that there is the bridge here between, because as Mikko said, that there needs some kind of places where people will pick up the food. And this is actually something that is happening, that from the big stores we have small stores that can also work as a pickup place. When we take from the bigger stores to the smaller stores, the next maybe bigger challenge we see is the order picking for the e-commerce. Where shall they do it, the retailers? Shall they do it in the stores, or shall they do it in the distribution centers, or should they have some kind of combined solution in between? So that's the third, the second. Then the third thing is that for sure we can see the sustainability is a growing challenge for all the big retailers, because the youngsters, the young people are looking actually how the retailers are taking care of this. And then the retailer need to think about all the waste in the logistics and especially the plastic waste that are used in many cases with wooden pallets and so on. And then we have the fuel cost, and less trucks need to be done. But in the same way, because it's so easy to talk about let's do it in a sustainable way, but they of course need to think that there need to be some financial figures also in that. So they need also to do that in a clever way, at the same time in a sustainable way. So these are maybe the three biggest trends for the moment. Or do you agree?
I agree, and actually, of course, in Inex we have always think about the client. So we already started like almost 10 years ago that we are also picking up the plastic and the cardboard from the client, from our, if you think about the return logistic.
Yeah.
And actually, it's not, you are not losing money, you are making money.
Exactly.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
That, well, I don't know, do they do it that in all around Europe or in the States, but it has been in our business long time.
Yes, that's true.
Thank you very much, Mikko and Stefan, for these insights. And there were several key takeaways, among other things, about sustainability, which is absolutely crucial for making good and profitable business nowadays. Besides these questions that we discussed here, you also have questions. So let's dive into the Q&A, the questions and answers session. So with Stefan and Mikko, we're really glad to notice that you have been sending us questions, quite a few of them. The first one we have is for Stefan.
Okay.
How long does it normally take to reach break even when you switch from pallet-based operations to wheeled logistics?
So you talk about a ROI, return of investment. Yeah. It of course depends a little bit how you are calculating it, but roughly 1 to 2 years from the point that you make the decision that you come to a situation where you have the roll containers around. So the ROI is fairly short, I would say.
All right. Stefan, can your AGV handle roll cages as well?
What a good question. Our newest AGV, which is called, it had an own name, the A-Mate, your mate in the DC. It can handle from pallets, roll containers, foldable cages, smart cubes, and all these kind of products. So if there are out there someone that want to test our A-Mate in the DC, please contact me or one from my team.
All right. Mikko, how many Foldias do you have at Inex in your operations?
At the moment, roughly 140,000. When I started to take care of the roll case, it was 115,000. So it has come up quite a bit, but of course the volume has increased from that time.
Right.
Okay, something else?
What would you, Mikko, say to this question? Why did you want to have a plastic base in the Foldia roll cages?
Okay, that's a very good question, because we started that, like I said before, 2012, and we had the pilot with the customer, the clients, the stores, and the production. So actually we noticed that it was much easier to use even in manual working or picking, because the bottom was always straight. When you use the mesh bottom, it could actually bend quite easily, or it had to repair a lot. So that's much better for the stability of the product too. So it's always on the straight straight bottom, and that helps for the automation because it picks on automatically there, so there's no curve or down curve on the bottom.
So looking at roll cages, what are some of the major challenges that you have noticed that you have at Inex?
Well, that's very hard question to answer because it has been so long with us, almost 40 years. So it's just we have grown to it. Everybody has grown to it. But of course, I cannot answer what it was then when they first took it on. But I believe there was need for something else than pallet to help the work in the shop end. Because we always like to think about the whole logistic, how would you say, pipeline, that we need to all develop it and make it better. So if I can help the workers in shop, so why shouldn't I do it? Because
But have you had problems with it, was the question?
well, no, but of course, no, if you think about the use of the roll case. No, and the client can decide, can they order roll case or pallet, so. And it's roughly 50-50, so I don't think they will see it. There's a problem.
There was, Stefan, a reference being made to taxi liner, and one of the viewers in our audience asked, what is a taxi liner?
The taxi liner, it is actually a longer wagon that can take 3-4 dollies, for example, with beverage. So it can take 3-4 dollies on this wagon, and that is called the taxi liner. And then you can connect several taxi liners together, and it will become to be a train, a tug train.
Wow.
So that's, but if they're in need of testing and so on, just don't be afraid to call and to contact my team.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot of special terminology here, and also abbreviations, 3 or 4 letter acronyms that we've heard here already. So thank you for that highly relevant question. So looking, Mikko, at costs a little bit more, let's talk about money. A Euro pallet can cost around 15 euros per piece, and a roll container maybe around 90 euros, right? So we have a question, is it really worth it to switch?
Yeah, I believe if you think about the smaller shop, of course, if you think about the hypermarkets, then there's a pallet goes. If it's, for example, full pallet, then it's a total different story. But of course, we have to think about the small clients too. And for example, if you think about the capacity is 600 liters, so it's very good for the daily orders, because we deliver almost every day, Sunday. Well, actually we deliver on Sundays too nowadays, so every day on the week. But I think everybody should calculate everything open, because you cannot make the decision only just that it's easier to use, that you really have to know what is happening everywhere. But we are very, very happy, and we are not going to never leave the roll cage. No, of course, maybe if there's version 2.0, but that's totally different story.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So when we look at this current situation, we have a question about the Inex distribution center. Will it be possible to visit you? And whom should someone in the audience contact if they got interested and want to see all of this firsthand?
Yeah, of course, you can contact Stefan or straight to me, but we can arrange it. It's no problem. And I would like to have some visitors, because I haven't had almost any in 2 years. So
that's nice. We will. Yeah. We will come.
Exactly, because I'm sure, I mean, you're happy to have visitors, and since you seem obviously proud of what you built there. So yes, you are warmly welcomed by Mikko, as you can notice. Yeah. So how or in what ways is Foldia good in automation?
Well, it is good because it has been with us so long. So we need to pick up the automation manufacturer who could actually build up or the automation around it, because we wouldn't have to get rid of it. So it has to be happen. So, and it happened. So that Witron actually made it possible. I'm not saying that none of the others could do it. Probably they can and will. So it's very easy. But then you have to remember that if you are thinking about automation, then it should be the plastic bottom for the roll case. Don't use the mesh, because it will make the problems when the automation puts the product in and it's a little bit bending upward, it will break the product.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. The tolerances are
Yeah,
really
tolerance is very important.
very important for the automation, and the Folia is a perfect product
Yes,
for
yes, it is.
automation.
I see, yes. So, talking about what you were just referring to, how much repair and maintenance of the Foldia do you do?
Yeah, let's say less now than if I compare to those times when we have the mesh bottom of the roll cage, and like I said, roughly 140,000. So it depends on the year and how much we have used the roll cage, but it's somewhere 250,000, 300 euro, thousand euros per year. But then again, if you take per roll cage, it's 1.5 to 2 euros per roll cage per year. So it's not so much if you want to think about it like that way.
Right, so that's an investment you're prepared to make to have everything working on an annual basis.
Yeah, and if you have this yearly base maintenance with the roll cage, we still have very old roll cages in use. It's like this 40 years old.
40 years
Yeah,
old.
they are actually so old that you cannot even implement the
Thank you, Mikko.
plastic bottom there, but then we use them in different process like.
Right, because you have very different processes and position in your logistic chain, of course, I see. So they can be in use up to 40 years, and for how long do you predict, just your prediction, how long will they still remain in use if they're 40 years old?
Well, that's very hard because they are so old that we cannot implement them to use in automation.
Right.
But we will use them until they broke and
right.
they will recycle.
So for the time being, they'll be used. Wow.
Yeah. And I hope the audience understand I'm speaking this old model that has a little bit different, like metal used in the corners and so on. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a question regarding TCO, total cost of ownership. What would you like to note about that in real life?
Total cost of ownership, that's something that I think is very well connected to sustainability also. Total cost of ownership means that the product have a price the first day, and what is the price actually after 5 years or 10 years. So the total cost of the ownership of the product on a certain time. And we are, I would say, never the cheapest ones when it comes to the first day. But we are always the cheapest ones after 5 years. And that is why we put so much on development work, and we use metal, we use stainless steel, not stainless steel, but tension steel to make the products that they have a long lifetime, as we heard from Mikko today. That was really nice to hear.
40 years.
40 years, yes. So after 5 years, with so little service on them, that is when we talk about total cost of ownership. So I think that's something that is really connected to sustainability, that we buy a product that can be used for 5, 10 or 14 years.
Well, if any one of us buys a car, nowadays you can get like a 3 or 5 or in some cases even a 7-year warranty. Do you guarantee they'll be working for 40 years now here publicly in this webinar?
Let's see, it depends, not almost, but we normally give 3 or 6 years warranty to our products. Depends a little bit which model, because we have many models of them. We use many different wheels on our roll containers and so on. But 3 to 6 years we give warranty, which means that all parts we replace free of charge and so on, as long as they are used according to our user manuals and so on. But that's what we are really proud of. The high quality and the long lifetime, which comes back then to the TCO.
You were talking about sustainability and referred to that just a moment ago. So you're talking about others needing to take that into account when you were referring to your highly esteemed clients. What about you guys at K.Hartwall? How do you take that into account?
Thank you for asking. Thank you absolutely for asking. And of course, you should always live up to what you are trying to learn the other ones.
Sure.
We have, especially in Finland, in our headquarter and the biggest factory that we have put a lot of effort into the automation. We have all lights in the factory are LEDs for the moment. We are investigating for solar panels and these kind of things, and all wastewater that we use we are taking care of, and so on. So we really try to come up to what we are trying to learn the rest of the world. We will, of course, and we want to be an example for the other ones. But then I think also it's important that we have our production units. They are quite close to our customers, and in that way we produce when we produce them close to our customers. The transport costs and all that includes with pollution and so on are much lower than, for example, if someone produced them in China.
Right, locally grown, lähituotantoa, närodlat.
Exactly.
Excellent, sounds very ecological.
Yes.
Fantastic.
All right.
So Stefan, going back to the ROI, the return on investment, could you provide some kind of examples, or where could our viewers find examples for calculating the ROI, especially for the part in the store?
Okay. That's actually a very good question, and I think Mikko did a little bit touch this thing, because the fact is that the biggest savings is not in Mikko's DC. The biggest savings are in the store.
Right.
But that is actually not so much on Mikko's table. That's the store manager, because he will save a lot when he do not need to have a lot of people taking in the wooden pallet into the store with the pallet jack and so on. And now with the roll cage, with the folia, just roll it into the store and pick from the same product the products into the shelves. So the biggest savings and the biggest return of the investment and the fastest, let's say, factor is actually in the store.
Is the Tugger Train solution available for roll cages?
The Tugger Train solution is available very soon for the roll containers.
Soon.
Yeah. We have it on the development.
Is this secret now?
Yes. No, it's a little bit secret, so we will not go into the
don't
details
tell
here.
him, okay.
But we have actually 2 big retailers in the world asking for it. So today our Tugger Train called the lift liner takes wooden pallets and daughter carts, bigger, that have bigger footprints, and we are now developing our lift liner to take roll containers. Yes.
So is it possible to use roll containers with an RFID tag or codes? What experiences are there maybe about actually doing this already?
Track and trace, absolutely, yes. We have actually a product called Visimore visualization more, so you can follow. So yes, we can provide that solution to our roll containers that can be followed. So we can follow our roll containers.
That was the sales speech. Now Mikko has the reality.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that this question probably is from the few years back, because then we had the problem if you wanted to use RFID with the roll cages, was that when you put 4 inside one, there is too much metal around that.
Right.
It disturbed the signal, but it's no problem today because it has developed a lot.
Right.
But
right.
it was just a.
How important is RFID for you at Inex?
Well, at the moment we are not using them
at all.
Yes, in one purpose, but it's for checking different kind of trolley. That is it real or pirate, and we are talking about the flower trolleys.
Wow. Okay. And but will that increase in the future?
Probably.
Absolutely. We see it all the time. The whole my team sees all the time. All the big retailers are asking for how can we track our assets.
Yeah, RFID is not a new technology. To the contrary, I mean, it's been in heavy use all over the world for more than a decade. So apparently it's coming gradually.
Yes, it comes. The thing is, of course, that when you have 140,000 roll containers and then you need to add this this solution to the hall and to several DCs and so on, and to the stores and so on, then it can be quite a big cost. But for sure, track and trace, absolutely, that is something that is coming.
We got a really practical question, and actually I have to say I'm wondering about this myself as well. Do you place plastic film around the roll cages for the delivery? Do you still use cling wrap?
Yes, and let me explain why. Because when we were at the manual world, and for example, if you pick fruit and vegetables and you had basically two modular boxes, 600 times 400, 300 times 400, and you put the piles on the roll cage, then it was enough to put the rubber band.
Right, just a rubber band to keep it together.
But now when we move to automation, we cannot use the rubber band, because if they goes to the lines and the rubber bands are going wiggly there, and they will can get stuck somewhere and get caught and fell down. So that's why now we use plastic foil on every roll cage. But then again, we recycle that from the shops that comes over the plastic foil.
Exactly.
But for example, in the manual world, or what kind of surroundings you are having in your production, that is the most important question here.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
What's the most common item that needs to be repaired on the folder, Mikko?
Well, it used to be the bottom,
right?
But not anymore.
Now it's plastic.
No, now it's the what is the right English term for the wheel cover?
The caster.
Yeah, because
caster.
And why it broke is that if somebody takes it with the forklifts or anything, and it just hits on there you cannot actually stop it. That happens. But then again, when you move it a lot, that happens quite a lot.
I see.
So that means that is common in the whole world.
Yeah.
That the biggest challenge with the roll containers are forklift drivers.
Yeah, that's true.
That are speeding and they are hitting, and we have developed a quite strong holder for the but the forklift driver, especially in some countries, they are really hitting them all the time. So that's why.
And it's a miracle that when we move to automation, we have less of those.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So we really know that it's the forklift drivers.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's an secret arms race going on in the distribution centers here.
Yeah.
So one more question, Mikko. How did the process of switching from the old cages to the new Foldia type go?
Well, it was quite a long process. We started, the pilot was 2012, and then of course we get the results, and then we made the decision. It was big investment, and it took 8 years to change all the old bottoms to the new plastic ones. Well, of course, then we talk with K.Hartwall and every year we made a plan that how much we are going to implement for these new roll cages. And of course, on that time, we also increased the strengthness of the frame of the roll cage before we insert the new plastic bottom. So, of course, I'm not going to say how much it cost because we had so many roll cages, but then again, now we get the benefit.
Right.
Exactly. To understand, I mean, it was a long process, but it was also a planned process. That because Inex, as one of the biggest retailers in Finland, they need to have the operations running all the time, and so on. So we made a plan. We will take them in. We will retrofit them, and so on. So.
And that helped a lot. That we had then the new logistics center was building up, and it was actually divided on 5 different phases, and actually we could move the new roll cages to the new automation warehouse, and we used the old one in the manual warehouse.
Yeah,
right. Exactly. So business was not was uninterrupted continuously. Exactly. Very good. Thank you so much, gentlemen, and thank you everyone for your questions. Feel free to continue to send messages or ask questions in the chat. K.Hartwall and Mikko will be happy to, of course, provide you answers, or if you have inquiries, queries, or orders, this channel is open for a while here. We won't close it right away now. Thank you very much for all your questions. And above all, thanks for your time and interest. This marks the end of the first retail-related webinar by K.Hartwall. So we are really glad you were with us, and we hope you got interesting, useful information so that you can develop your business. Clearly, there are lots of other useful topics as well, so this will not be the last webinar of its kind. There will be more, so stay tuned. And regarding this one, you will be getting an email with a link to the recording, which we welcome you to share with your colleagues as well, who could find it useful in their work. And we also kindly ask you to fill in a really short, brief questionnaire, which will provide us with super valuable feedback so that we can improve our services to you and help you even better in the future. Right now, we want to thank you, all of us here at the K.Hartwall Global Headquarters. And remember, regarding wheeled logistics especially, don't reinvent the wheel. Use it.